And we're live.
And we're live. We have no introduction today. Welcome to the Marketing Happy Hour. It's Wednesday. Hump day. What?
Surprise!
We really need an introduction at this point.
There's no introduction necessary. We're trying to economize on bandwidth.
We are.
So, welcome. I am Dr. Christopher Vogelman, one of your inimitable hosts of drvogelman.com and our joint venture called Epic Win Agency. And my partner in crime is
John Paduchak. Hey, everybody. I'm John Paduchak from johnpaduchak.com, your video marketing expert. And yeah, we got a lot of great stuff going on. We got Epic Win. We got local marketing strategies. We got some cool stuff happening.
How cool. And speaking of cool, the man who's cool and ain't no fool, Dr. Kayvon K.
Hello, hello, hello. Good to see you both. And hello to everyone. This is Coach K. I'm an implementation coach from Simplify.zone. And I help entrepreneurs get stuff done on time, every time. Well, that's not a promise, but that's the goal.
And remember, you're never alone with Simplify.zone.
It's becoming a jingle.
It is.
My jingle. Hey, speaking of jingle, let's get ready to mingle. So
Yes.
we're talking about what's working now in marketing. I've got one slide I wanted to show in a little bit, but let's get this discussion started. What are your favorite ways of reaching out and touching people other than AT&T? Mr. Paduchak.
Yeah. I reached out and touched them today.
You did? Yeah, he was having problems.
I was having problems.
So
what
how
is
do you
the
like,
question?
what's working now?
It's working.
Well, AT&T was not working for John.
My cell service was not working today, so no.
Right. I don't think what sometimes is forgotten. I know you ask what's working, but I'm thinking about what's not working. All of the approaches that or sales calls that I received, that they haven't done the job of making me know, like, and trust them.
No, they have not.
Right. So if it doesn't matter if it's a cold email, cold call, email, webinar, any of that. If it's not there, it's not there. On the other hand, when there is that know, like, and trust, I really don't care how they contact me. That works. Makes sense?
Does carrier pigeon work for you?
It does. It does.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, send me a carrier
You get a
pigeon.
little poopy. So
It's kind of a new way of marketing, and I know what you're saying. There's a lot of people who still use the old methods of marketing of sending you emails out of the blue and the calls that you aren't expecting and really don't want. And then there's those that really have developed new ways of connecting with you through social media and doing things kind of a new, different, but yet right way of developing a nice, warm relationship with you. It makes all the difference in the world.
well, cold email can work, but it's pretty tricky. Usually you have to stick them into a funnel and then nurture them along the way.
Yes, exactly. Nurture them. That's what's working part. The nurture what's working is all the new ways that we can nurture people. It used to be what? Just mail. Now we can send them text messages. There are coaches that I'm on their text message list.
Sure.
And every Monday or so, I get a motivational quote or something. I don't like to opt out of that. It works for me, and it's a nurturing relationship. I've never bought anything from them, but it's working.
Or a message with a video. More and more people
Yes.
I know are sending out, message with a video. Hey, I want to get in touch. I was looking at your website. I'm a really big fan, by the way. But I noticed along the way I saw this, and this, and I just thought maybe you might want to fix that. Well, could we talk about it?
Mm-hmm.
That's a great approach that a lot of people are using, and a lot of great tools to go along with that.
What is that new one with the video messages?
I can't think of the name of it.
Oh, there's a number of them.
There's quite a few of them. Warm Welcome is one that I'm thinking of.
Right.
But there's quite a few of them.
The social media interface. I mean,
well, we were talking at one point about it was I can't remember .video. It was terrible. Gary V was an investor in it.
Oh, Hi-Ho.
Oh, Hi-Ho.
Hi-Ho. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. The name.
Hi-Ho.
Yeah, Hi-Ho is very cool.
That's pretty interesting, and it's in its infancy at this point, so it's something.
Yeah, and
worth
I've developed some
checking out.
really nice relationships through that over different
Mhm.
topics. Like the RV stuff. I've had people chit-chatting back and forth with me and then connected with me on Twitter and Instagram. And
Mhm.
Has anybody heard anything about BitClout? Not BitCloud, BitClout.
No, what is that?
I saw I mean, it's really fascinating. It is essentially people creating coins like Bitcoin or any sort of crypto, but it's rewarding creators, and it is becoming, at least it's in its infancy, as an alternative to Twitter because there's monetization built into this blockchain. That's something I still have to research a little bit more. I watched a video from, I think it was Adrian Morrison today, and it was quite curious because it looks almost like a Twitter interface, but people are buying and selling each other's coins and essentially rewarding creators for their content. It's quite intriguing. John, I know John's going to be interested once I start
Well,
sharing.
what would be an
stuff.
example of a content created by a creator?
Something like Adrian Morrison has a video series maybe on how to navigate the world of e-commerce without having to travel to China.
Okay, and that is
that would be
digital currency now.
No, but you can exchange the digital currency for one-on-one time with this individual,
Got it.
or maybe get a deep discount like 50% off the next course or the next live event, that type of thing. But it's really quite curious. I mean, I think it's probably going to beat out Facebook's little stars that you can give to people, which are worth a fraction of a cent. So. But that was one thing that just popped up today. I don't know how well it's working, except he was producing a significant amount of cash, but he's been famous in the e-commerce world for a long, long time. So I think people are rewarding his advice and his inspiration. I was going to check if I could show you my screen.
Definitely can be very confusing for a newcomer,
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going on. We're going to go to Inception right now. Woo! Yeah. I'm going to show you this one because this one really intrigues me. I'm just going to go to full screen here. This is the latest from Hootsuite that I saw, which was from April 2021, and it's about social media use around the world. But what's intriguing to me is not just that there's 44.33 billion users out of, what are we up to? 7.5 billion, 7.3 billion people in the world. Yeah. But what intrigued me was down in here. Oh, can you see my little pointer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The 99% of people are accessing via mobile phones. And yet we're on desktops right now. What's that? No, out of the 44.33 billion social media users. Okay, so not everybody who's online is necessarily a social media user. Of those, 99% are using mobile. So that may really influence you in terms of both the platforms that you're using to meet your potential customers, as well as how you format everything. Because all of a sudden, something becomes, the vertical format may be the one that you need to master over time, as opposed to going horizontal for your videos. Really intriguing.
Yeah. Basically, think mobile.
Think mobile in whatever you do, and it's really quite curious in terms of how this is going on and the amount of time that's spent by the average user. I would imagine this is daily. Yeah, this is daily, 2 hours 22 minutes on social.
Guys, it's not more than that.
Well, but it's purely social as opposed to doing searches and things like that and consuming videos. I mean, I would imagine video consumption makes it a lot higher than that.
And I'm guessing in just a short amount of time. We're not even limited to just phones. It's like smartwatches and all of that would be part of our mobile.
Yeah, everything is mobile. I mean, tablets, for example. There's a huge segment of baby boomers, for example, who I think it's like 20+ %, and they are exclusively on their tablets. They don't even use a smartphone because the large format for people with vision problems enables them to consume content more easily.
Right.
And I like the idea that you can, I'm not putting myself in that category because I actually rarely, if ever, use a tablet. But I do like the idea that you can enlarge text if you, for example, forget your reading glasses.
Yes.
Quite curious.
Sometimes I want to do that with the restaurant menus. Right?
Isn't it interesting during COVID times that we have had, I'm going to get that thing out of there. We're moving. During COVID times, we've had scanning QR codes for menus in our local area. And as a
Mhm.
result, I think people are now getting used to the idea that there's not going to be a menu in front of you. You just have to use your phone or tablet or whatever you're bringing to the restaurant. And
Yeah,
Yeah,
just over
that's-
the weekend with family brunch, we did that. It was a QR code on the table.
Mhm.
We scanned it, and I'm guessing it wouldn't be easier to just order from there too.
Yeah.
But I guess login and all
It's-
of that is required.
it's becoming that way, which actually, well, for restaurant owners, they're actually hiring fewer staff as a result, because you don't have to have as many order takers. You just have to have people be able to deliver meals to the table if you're fully automated.
Right.
Yeah, but
Next-
the meet and greet part is a big
Oh, I
part
mean,
of
yeah,
the restaurant experience.
you still want your person at the front desk saying, okay,
Yeah.
hold on a minute. It will only be an hour and 25-minute wait.
Yeah. I was just say I don't think I've been to a restaurant that's like fully automated like that here.
No, we
I
had we
can't
saw
think of one.
not fully automated, but I can't remember, it was Applebee's or Chili's or one of those places in Syracuse several years ago while my dad was still living. We went there and they had these little tiny kiosks that are mounted on the table, and you
Applebee's
selected your
has those.
order. Applebee's
Yes.
is one, probably, yeah. And you
Yep.
selected your order, and at the end, you even could put the tip on, pay your
Mhm.
bill and have the tip on there right at the kiosk. So
There is a local burger place here that they can't even take your order from at the table. When you go there, you should have ordered on your mobile, or go ahead and order on your mobile, and we just bring it to you.
we went to Steak and Shake not too long ago, which is big back east in Chicago and those areas. But they had a place here in Little Italy in San Diego, and you had to order at the kiosks. You didn't go to the cashier. You ordered on the kiosk to get your whole order, and it was I guess it was possible to get somebody to take your order, but you had to wait in a longer line.
So it's becoming the reverse of the self-checkout at the supermarket.
Pretty much, yeah.
You
It's
start
like
from the end.
self checkout is key. They might even charge you an extra $1 to have somebody take your order. I
Possible.
could see that. I could actually
Yeah.
see that happening. So,
Yeah.
but in terms of getting people to consume things, I mean, what are your favorite social media platforms for reaching out and touching people and getting them to know, like, and trust you?
I'm these days with the work that I do, I'm liking LinkedIn more and more.
LinkedIn.
Yeah,
Ah,
me too.
Yes, because a bunch of, for lack of a better word, pre-qualifying elements and factors that are already applied there for me, and the context is no, we are here to do business. In other social media, the context could be anything, and you have to convert it to let's make it this business conversation.
mhm.
LinkedIn, I'm really liking that. Okay, we are here to talk about that sort of thing, and that's becoming more and more my favorite.
I do. So LinkedIn, that's very interesting. But everybody's in this group is into B2B, which is interesting. I find the quality of some of my LinkedIn connections is pretty poor, though, because initially I think they're going to be somebody really nice, and they immediately reach out to me and try to sell me something on the first message, and that's where I get cold when it comes to LinkedIn.
Might have been.
Well, you're gonna get those everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, just recently I started getting them on Facebook. I'm talking like recently, like within the last 6 weeks or so. Somebody pitching me, somebody who I do know who's connected with me with a number of people who immediately started pitching me on investments in Bitcoin and all kinds of stuff. And I was like, you know what? I may be a little cryptic, but I'm not into your crypto.
Yeah, crypto is the new MLM.
Pretty much, to some extent. I mean, people are getting commissions off of signing up people for Coinbase and other things like that. And so I don't know if it's new MLM, but it's definitely the hot new thing. So
I meant as far as the approaches that you.
Yeah.
People that you thought you were friends, your high school friends, they're not saying, "Hey, how are you?" just because they want to know how you're doing. They want to see if you want to. They send some crypto to you.
How's your portfolio?
How's your portfolio?
Doing
And my
well.
answer is, I avoid it.
I avoid it.
Yes.
John's actually got us into some of that. I blame him right now.
Blame me.
Blame John. So do either of you use Twitter, or are you exclusively all in on LinkedIn?
I use Twitter, but I don't use it as much as I did at one point.
You have a lot of followers.
I do have a lot of followers. I need to go back and kind of reignite my Twitter. I think I got more interested in it through Lunch Club, talking to people and hearing how they were using Twitter. And I think the ones that I want to concentrate on a little more are Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Because I used to do a lot of stuff on YouTube, kind of got away from it for a little bit, just because I wasn't up to doing all the videos that I did at one point. But reviving all those things again.
Do you regard YouTube as a social media network? I mean, there's a space for comments and for likes, but I don't know how many people really engage much in the comment section under videos.
I think it depends. I've seen a lot of channels where people engage like a lot. So there can be tons and tons of engagement. It just depends on your channel.
So you get 2,000 pounds of engagement.
For me, YouTube is more of a, I guess, consumption and search engine. For me, the usage that I have for it is not a social media platform. Make sense?
Well, you're reaching out to people on YouTube today, even as we speak.
Right.
I guess I am using it as social media.
You are using YouTube.
I just didn't know that I'm using it as social
You're getting
media.
social. I'm sorry. I snuck that in. That you're
I'm
now
broadcasting. We are
broadcasting now on
yeah.
YouTube
Yes.
is Dr. Kayvon K.
Yeah.
So let's see. So other things that are working. So John, you were talking to, I guess it was Ed Winslow, about doing. He finds a lot of success with display ads. It's not necessarily social media, but it is working in marketing for getting return customers as well as new customers.
Yeah, because a lot of I feel like Facebook ads, YouTube ads have gotten kind of expensive for a lot of people. Or they feel like they have, especially in some areas. Like Ed's got a lot of stuff going on in New York City. Big cities, you could be paying $30 to $80 a click in the big cities like that. And I think with display ads, he's maybe paying $1.50, $2 a click. So
they're measuring it by views, or I mean the cost per thousand.
It can be per view or it can be per click.
Oh, really? Per action? That's
so it can be both ways. But so he's got it labeled out both ways. I'm not sure whether it's done in CPM, and then he just looks at the billing per click,
and then converts it I'm not
sure, but that's what I was reading today. He said, typically for the keywords that they're searching and they'd be bidding on, it would be $30 to $80 a click, and he's getting, somewhere between 1.5 to 3. So that's not bad.
Not bad.
No,
I would imagine it would depend upon the industry too. Like if you're a bankruptcy attorney or a divorce lawyer, your cost per click is going to be a heck of a lot higher.
Totally does. I think in this case it's real estate and his guys that have an aquarium business. So it tends to be a little bit less.
What business?
Aquariums.
Ah, right. Aquarium.
They build.
I heard coronary. And I thought,
coronary.
Coronary.
Eat no fish to prevent coronaries, but don't eat them from your aquarium because that's an expensive way to feed yourself.
Wrong message.
So they make this one client of Ed's makes custom aquariums for big shopping malls, city centers, things like that. I mean, big multi-million-dollar aquariums. So they seem to be doing quite well with pay-per-click and display and GMB.
I would imagine a small installation would be something like I've seen in some doctors' offices, like surgeons and others, where it's a large aquarium, but it's nothing like what you're talking about.
No, I think these would be more like something you'd see in, like a Bass Pro Shop or the very large kind of wild fish aquariums.
Or a big restaurant. I've seen some restaurants with huge aquariums.
Restaurants, malls, and that sort of thing.
Yep. Sure. So that kind of.
I was noticing that there's a huge decline in mall usage, shopping malls, and the vacancy rate, at least here in the U.S., is really, really high. And some people are blaming e-commerce for that. What do you think?
There's a huge decline in malls in general. I think e-commerce is certainly. It's got to be a blame. I mean, most of us order more stuff from Amazon than ever, but we still try to do business with local businesses as much as we can as well. But I think the big anchor stores of malls kind of made some big mistakes as they went along. Rather than change their business strategy or marketing strategy, they just got kind of doing the same old thing until it put them out of business, which is unfortunate.
Well, Macy's closed a lot of stores, but they're still in operation.
Yeah.
And they are anchor stores for a number of malls all across the country.
Yeah.
So,
My guess is also some of that is because of, people got used to the lifestyle of staying at home.
mhm.
So
of course.
the option of going out shows up less.
Yeah. It's definitely changed things a lot. I mean, I see more vehicles doing grocery delivery. You've got more DoorDash, Uber Eats, people around than ever before. Yeah, a lot of things have changed. I think there's a lot of things that'll never go back to the way they were ever again.
But do you think there's a resistance to paying a fee for delivering food and putting a tip on top of it? Because somebody might say, wait a minute, it's going to cost me $12 or $15 to get this thing delivered by the time those charges
Maybe some, but they also come up with a lot of coupons and stuff to keep bringing down the prices because they're realizing that that's going to eventually be an objection to people. And I'm sure at some point they'll slip over the line and just go, oh, we don't have to do that anymore. And people will change because whenever we've got the incentive to do things like that, we'll do it. But then when that incentive goes away, we tend to make changes, right?
Well, that's true in B2C, business to consumer. So my question is, I mean, I would think that in the B2B world, this is relatively irrelevant. I mean, you're building relationships and hopefully nurturing those relationships such that you can eventually have a business transaction or a long-term business relationship. Yes. I'm wondering, though, in terms of B2C, I mean, isn't there still a place for, say, Facebook ads and other things like that? I mean, if you target them properly.
Yeah, totally a place. And there's, I've been seeing that there's a lot of differences in the way they target ads. I think most people know that, at least by now, we've seen a lot of the commercials on TV for Apple, and that Apple's changed, the way they handle your privacy concerns and letting people have access to your data and all, right? You see in the commercial where that there's a guy and he's got all these people walking around him, and all of a sudden he presses the button on his Apple phone, they'll go poof.
which is the bane of the person who wants to do social media marketing, at least with respect to Facebook, for example.
Because of course,
iOS 14 seems to not be destined, but at least seems to be trying to be the Facebook killer.
Yeah, but they found other ways to creatively advertise to those people. So
how different is that from an algorithm change?
Tracking pixels.
It's pretty hugely different.
So instead of being followed from website to website or from being followed on Facebook, for example, from page to page to page, I mean, the algorithm is just going to feed you what you are interested in consuming based on your past consumption patterns.
And being cookied and stuff. But don't, for people out here listening to this, I mean, don't be confused. They're still going to find other ways to track you and hunt you down.
That's what I meant. As far as impact, how they're different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but it's still going to affect your privacy. At the end of the day, they're still going to have the data. It's just this is one way that Apple immediately saw that they could block it. But my understanding is that in some ways, it's actually done a lot of marketers a service because they found out new and different and maybe even more effective ways to market to those same people. So.
Well, you can, there's some searches, not searches, but targeting for display ads based on IP addresses. But if people are roaming around with their mobile phones, I don't know that your home IP address is going to be that great.
I don't know. I'm not sure how they're doing it, but I know
most people are stuck at home, and then it's okay to use their IP address to sell them stuff.
Yep.
So now, in terms of video marketing, because I know that's your big thing, John. So where do you see video marketing going these days as far as a tool for customer acquisition and keeping customers happy?
Well, it's becoming more and more prevalent, more and more popular, and we're consuming more and more stuff mobilely, as you just showed. And that doesn't surprise me. I know that when we were first talking about this before we got on, I was saying that I think I'm doing probably 90% of my work on my phone now on average. And then I think the only time I'm really using my laptop is for stuff that I really need big space for or a desktop. And when I'm shopping, because I use the extensions to get, like discounts from different stores, where they split the affiliate commission with you and stuff. So a lot of times I shop at those types of businesses and get money back. So those are like some of the few times I use a PC. I think the last statistics we saw were like 80% of the people we were seeing were using their mobile to see our videos and interact with us online. So
I think that's what's
video more and more prevalent.
I was quite intrigued not too long ago by seeing what the Facebook banners looked like on, say, the MacBook or any sort of a laptop versus mobile. And it was definitely optimized for mobile, because when you put a banner on your timeline, you have to drag it up and down a little bit till you find the right look for it, but because it's still going to cut off the image. But then when you go to mobile, you'll find that the image is complete, and you can see everything that's on that image. So clearly but it used to be just the opposite, which is you had to be able to center your banner just right. So because mobile was going to cut off from both sides.
Yes.
We're seeing more and more apps that are, TV oriented type apps so that we can participate in TV broadcasting with our sites and videos. We're seeing more apps that, more software that allows you to even create your own apps. So like if you got a WordPress site, you can create your own app out of it.
Well, once you create an app, though, how are you going to market that? That's always been my curiosity. I mean, you've got to have a budget of some sort to be able to promote it.
You're going to have a budget to promote it. Sure, through the Play Store or through the App Store on iPhone. Yep.
A friend of mine is developing a great app, and it's for basically coaches and content owners, and it's a mobile-only platform.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very new, but it's at that stage that you get new coaches or new users to it just by the network of the people who are the users.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's a coach using it, they're going to bring their own users. This is where you consume my material. So think of, if you want to consume somebody's program, you have to go to Kajabi.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to that, but just in this social platform.
Yeah, I think more and more people are going to bring their own audience to a lot of these apps. But the other thing that's great about it is, let's say, some of the business card type apps that I've seen. In the old days, we would go someplace to, like a networking event, right? And you're exchanging business cards to people. And what's the first
whip
thing?
out card? That was the WOC whip out card.
Yeah, but what's the first thing that happens when we exchange business cards? You get home, probably goes through the wash, might end up in your circular file.
Or you put them in a pile.
On your desk, you put it in a pile, it gets lost. So more and more savvy business owners are connecting into the electronic business cards where they can actually, get you on a webinar, take surveys. Yeah.
But is an electronic business card really that
nice,
critical? I'm just
No.
wondering if an electronic business card isn't one more piece of technology
smart. I like
to
that.
add. Well,
This is
because
something one of my clients developed. It's called an Ovo card, and all of my contacts are on the homepage. So if somebody basically either scans that QR or it has the technology that I just touch their phone and the web page and contact shows up. So this is how I give my card to somebody else, and I just have one of them and I just use it. But I haven't been to many meetings since COVID.
Yeah. I think our meeting quotient is way down from what it used to be.
No, but it's nice if you can, have one that's got text applications, and you could say, "Hey, Kayvon, text blah blah blah" to,
But what's the advantage? What is the advantage of having that card versus just sending them to your web page where you have all your contact info?
Well, let me go a few steps back.
Okay.
So before this technology, when I was designing my actual business card, many years ago, it was, this is my name, email address, phone number, and that was it. Then using social media became more useful. So now I wanted to add my Twitter and my Facebook. And then there was a big number of them. So the whole card would have been busy with, these are all the places that you find me. And I thought, well, I need to just have one place for all of those things. So I removed all of that from the business card. In fact, I think I can show you. But anyway, it's easy to imagine. So basically, I the front of the card was clean and simple. On the back, I had one QR code that I would send them to a web page. And the good thing was, content of that web page is up to me now. I could have a promotion there. So the physical card became a dynamic content kind of a card, because not only I had all my contacts over there, my Calendly link over there, my latest promotion and that sort of thing. So that's one idea, that with this electronic business card, it's the same thing that's happening. They are giving me the page and ways to contact, and I don't have to print cards anymore. It's one card that I carry, and that I have to do that. And there are now applications like Sleek Bio and that sort of thing that they give you that content page that you can have a video and a link and this and that. It's a connect with me page, as opposed to go see my website page, which is a bigger commitment.
Yeah, and the app that I have actually plugs people right into my CRM.
Oh, there you go. That's even better.
It's even better. So,
Do they know that they're being plugged into your CRM?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I tell them. I mean, let's keep in touch. I'm going to plug you right into my system, and
Will it pull in their mobile phone number, or are you just
it will.
you have to ask her?
I believe it will.
So how do you differentiate then your business card? I'm really curious about this, because I don't have one of these things. How do you differentiate that from, like, I know, John, your signature at the bottom of your email has all of that information.
It does have all that information too.
So isn't that a duplication of effort, or do you?
Sure.
Because would you put your electronic business card in there in addition to the signature, which already has the information?
I'm one of these people who believes you can never really have too many calls to action.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, like somebody's going to look at one thing and go, "Oh yeah, I got to do that." I'm in the process of redoing my app card. And so when that gets done, I'll add that to my signature. But right now it's out of it. And I'll just add it as something that I give something away for. So like, if you want XYZ from me, just text such and such to such and such, and I'll send it to you. So
Just so and so.
Yeah.
To so and so for such and such.
You know, it's got a little text application in it, and it works well.
And you mentioned the signature of the email. I simplified that too. I have that link for my every connection thing. Go here, which again, because if they're going to click on that 3 years from now, that video that I include or some other thing, they may not be relevant anymore. But if it's a link to a place, it's going to be always relevant.
So if you want to see my face all over the place, click here.
Click here. We're all set. Yep.
Very good. Now, so John, you mentioned something earlier, which I was curious about, because I know Facebook ads have just increased dramatically. I think last year they bopped up by about 35%. And so, but you were saying that YouTube ads were becoming expensive, and I was curious about that, because about a year ago, people were saying they were still dirt cheap.
Yeah, I think some areas they're become more expensive, and then there are still some places where they're very inexpensive. So I think it depends on the niche market that you're working.
Places
with.
the niche or the
niche. I think it's dependent on the niche. That's something that I am getting more involved in. So I mean, I haven't been involved in it for a little while. So
which niche is most expensive?
Niche, niche is cheap. Niche is shishi.
Yeah, niche is shishi.
anything that's French is going to cost you more.
Yeah, I can't speak to that at the moment, because like I said, I'm just getting back into doing more ads.
Well, because when it comes to ads, one of the things I've been told by numerous people that Twitter ads are a bargain, to use the New England accent, and that the other one is that LinkedIn ads were virtually worthless, that people really didn't find much of an ROI on LinkedIn ads.
No, and I think the way that they go about them is wrong. Like if it's any indication of a lot of the ones that I've seen, they say that they're sponsored, like right off the top, it says it's sponsored. And then I think it's a misappropriation of the way that they use the ad, more than it is that the ad's useless. Like, I don't think they're using the right logic towards doing them. The ones that I see, I think you could do it the right way, but they're just not.
You think in terms of placement, or in terms of how
languaging? I think in terms of copywriting of them. And I may be wrong on my assessment, but the ones that I've seen, that I just look at them and go, why in the world would I respond to that? It's just like it's too long. It's not a concise what about me. It's more of a what about them and why I should, look how great I am and why you should interact with me, than it's anything about me.
Well, speaking about what about me, what do you both of you envision as the role of, say, chatbots or messenger bots in marketing, in terms of developing or nurturing a relationship? I mean, people know they're talking to a bot or a robot.
Yeah, but they point out information to you, which is kind of cool. So if you set them up to answer like a lot of the common questions that you get, I think they can be very, very useful. And I understand running ads to them is also very reasonable, or more reasonable. I'm not sure why. I think maybe because it's a Facebook run.
They're probably rewarding you because they want to push the messenger ads.
You want to keep people more in. It keeps them more on platform. Probably
keep them in the ecosystem. Never let them escape as planned.
Yeah.
I think there are countries in this that they think internet is Facebook.
Yeah, for some people, especially if you have one of those portals, like they sell, which is sort of like you're trapped in a tablet-like environment that is solely Facebook.
Yeah, and even us, we think Google has everything, but what they have maybe crawled, 30% of the internet, and not all of it, and even that is selective of what they want to show you and not to show you. So most of it is not even in our purview.
Yeah, we just have almost everything, or what they think is most important of everything.
Yeah. Well, yeah, what they think.
That didn't sound conspiratorial at all.
Yeah.
Never, ever.
It's their substance for everything.
One of the things that intrigued me was it 2 or 3 years ago that there was an agreement struck between Google and Twitter, and Google would receive from Twitter the feed, and Google actually now uses, or it has a couple of years now of experience of crawling over 15% of all Twitter feeds. Very interesting to me. So that may be another reason why you may want to consider going back to Twitter and giving that tweet a chance.
Yeah, because they used to get a lot of traction using Twitter. They were picked up really quickly.
And I think that's still the case, because in some instances, I believe that Twitter is viewed as almost like a news source, almost like the unofficial AP or UPI. Well, UPI is dead.
Well, I think Reuters. The other thing, I mean, I don't know about your area, but in our area, the police use Twitter extensively. The electric company uses Twitter extensively, especially when we have winter storms. The school system uses it pretty extensively. And it is a news source. And companies,
I can see that I'm not a Twitter
customer
user,
service.
I'm not a Twitter user, but I use it when my home internet is down, and I just look up my ISP's tweet, because they're gonna tell me we're working on it, it's almost done, or expect. So the updates are there. So that's how I can see how that can be helpful.
Yeah, it's busted. We know it.
Stop calling us.
Yeah, we've had a lot of experience with using Twitter for lodging customer service complaints, and most companies, the last thing they want is a nasty tweet that's being retweeted or liked or whatever. And in fact,
I was looking at that.
Yeah. We had that with Airbnb. We had a nasty Airbnb experience up in LA at the end of March, beginning of April, and boy, did they latched onto that really quickly in customer support. And you'll see some companies will have a Twitter account that is their main brand account. Some companies will regionalize their Twitter accounts, and some will have individual accounts for different locations. But the one that gets me the most, which is really interesting, is where they have the main brand account, and then they have the customer support account, which is a separate account. And they'll even direct you from the main account saying, oh, don't go here, go over here.
Oh, yeah.
And then they start.
Maybe you can hit them both.
I do. We hit them both.
Don't tag our main company in your complaint.
We gave Airbnb a hard time. So.
Well, it's funny. I think a lot of people feel like they shouldn't do that. They should follow through. I think you learn a lot about a company by the way they handle those kinds of things. Yeah. I mean, you learn a lot about a company by the way they handle those kinds of things. I think back to a time where there was a guy who's trying to get a flight arrangement, he wasn't able to call Virgin Airlines because of wherever he was at, but he could tweet them. And he managed to get on Twitter, connect with them, and they helped him to set up new arrangements and connect with somebody that he could get to, all through social media. So a lot of times we kind of like look at that and go, oh, I don't really want to bring my game to there. But you know what? Sometimes that's where you got to bring the game. You got to bring it right to them on social media.
I've done the same thing with United Airlines and American Airlines, and it worked amazingly well.
And as you know, I started to do the same thing with insurance company when I started to see them doing some stuff that was a little bit unscrupulous.
They had no scruples?
No scruples.
Oh,
no.
That's sad.
Yep.
There's a shortage of scruples.
Especially in the
scruple shortage.
Health insurance industry. There's definitely a shortage of scruples.
My two greatest enemies when I was in clinical practice were health insurance companies and drug companies. Those are the two.
There you go. I think
I worked in pharmaceuticals, mind you. So that was
they're supposed to be on your side. We're on the same team.
And I worked in insurance, and so there you go.
I mean, there's two organizations that I believe to a great extent are fairly soulless. So
the worst part of dealing with a hurricane is the insurance, not the hurricane.
There's a lot of truth to that. Yeah, there is a lot of truth to that. Actually, so I think, do we have any other comments and things? So I think we're going to make this a little shorter than usual. I think we're shooting for a half hour, but we're at the 42-minute mark. So anything else you want to say about what's working now? Something innovative or something you want to share that you're curious about with respect to marketing?
I can't think of anything in particular. I see some places that are going to be very popular as time goes on. Obviously, more and more video. More and more of that video seems to be going in the direction of TV, Roku, Amazon. Now it's not just YouTube anymore. Facebook, I was listening to Mari Smith the other day. Facebook is putting on more customer support, which, as you know, has been a huge concern for a lot of people doing advertising, because the only way to reach Facebook customer support is through a series of 200,000 forms or something.
Well, but don't forget that lovely sequence of emails where they promise to get back to you within the next 3 weeks.
What email? I don't.
I've had them.
I've never even gotten to an email. So
you're lucky that you got email.
I know. You got an email.
You got to be connected to the right people.
I guess so.
I've been a Facebook user since 1976.
My favorite was when I filled out a form and they said, "Oh, you need to go to such and such URL and fill out this other form," and then they direct you to another form and yet another form. It's kind of like the definition of insanity is where I ended up with it. But anyway.
The other day I had a question from my bank, which is something that they should put on their homepage, as in, this is our routing number, this is blah blah blah, but it's nowhere to be found. Anyway, I after a long hold, I finally found someone who said, "So what's the number?" Instead of just giving me the number, he says, "So open up your browser, go to Google, search for this." He sent me to guided me to search for something, to go to a web page, so the number is there. But just tell me the number.
That's a great example of really bad customer service. And almost every bank does the same thing, which is they don't publish their routing number. Or if you do see the routing number, it's an old one from the 1980s. That's no longer in effect.
Yeah, if you don't, even at least in the accounts, when I log in, when I see my accounts, there should be all of that information there too.
No, but it says truncated. You don't see that.
It's mobile designed for mobile.
Yes, it's truncated for mobile use, right?
For mobile users only.
I think the other thing you're going to see a lot of changes in is security, because I'm starting to see more and more security changes, more people talking about challenges with WordPress security, and a lot of the plugins, at least that I've used, are supposed to be great. Never really worked for me, but I did manage to find other things that did. So,
by the way, John, you and I also had recently cut a video. I think it was a 4 or 5 minute video, or it may have been 6 minutes, on cybersecurity. So I think we'll post that sometime soon. We'll put it on the Epic Win agency page. And I think we'll put it on our personal pages or professional pages also.
Boom.
Nice. That just occurred to me. Like, it sounds vaguely familiar. And it was like, even how you structure your website in terms of having folders that are within, you think they're hidden, but they're within plain sight of a potential hacker. So, Name
Yep.
them. Don't. One of the keys was don't name them things like admin. Name
Right.
them stuff like fuzzy
Login.
bastard
Gobbledygook.
or mom. So
Mom,
mom.
fluffy puppies.
That's another security thing. Like, never have your mom and dad or husband in your phone as with those names. Like, don't save it
Yeah,
as
no
hubby
kidding.
or wifey, because if they find your phone, that's the first thing that they can make it send a text from you on your behalf.
Mhm.
Hey, I'm stuck somewhere. Send me this money, or on the car GPS, don't
Mhm.
put your home address as home,
Mm.
because guess what? They break into your car and now they have your home address. GPS will take them there, and they can open the garage door too
Yeah.
with the button. So basically, you just welcome in.
How you doing?
Fortunately for us, they need a key to get in the garage. So
So many of the cars have the buttons already, right?
I know they do. I know they have the ones with the automatic garage door openers, but
Yeah.
we live on an island where the infrastructure is very old and many garages are manual.
Nice.
Is it a crank?
That's not a crank. It's you better have some upper arm strength to lift
Yeah.
that garage door once you've cracked the lock. So.
Yeah.
Mm. Pick that
But I
up.
think, and John, we have a series of things too. We're going to be doing on
We do.
videos, short videos, easy to consume, not as long as this one. So
No.
I think
Yeah.
we're working towards brevity.
We are. Yeah.
But we all like to talk. So
That's a challenge.
it is a challenge. So if
Talk
you
tomorrow.
would like to do some talking, you're more than welcome to join us at some point, but please give us your comments, your likes, your hearts, even your angry faces, Troy. I'm looking at you. And so that the algorithms of these various platforms are appeased by your interaction with us. And
That's
we'll
right.
be back
Algorithm
again.
gods.
The algorithm gods, pray to those algorithm gods. Also, never build your house on rented land. So that's one of the things that we're going to
Well-
talk about later too. Maybe that should be our next topic.
That's
The
a good topic.
danger of putting your faith and trust in the hands of various platforms. So. All right. Anything else? Or are we out of here?
So we are getting
Right.
on a Clubhouse, right?
We could. I had not known exactly what time we were doing this, so we can be up in Clubhouse in about 3 to 5 minutes. Just give me
Okay.
a little time. All right. Okay.
Let's do that.
Let's go
We'll
join
be
the
back
club.
next week, 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Mountain. We'll be here, and I'm sorry I don't remember you Hawaiian folks. I think that you're at, I want to say 1 p.m. Hawaiian Standard Time. Forgive me if I don't remember.
27 p.m. moon time.
Moon time, yes. Bye for now.
Bye.